Welcome back to the best years. No matter what's going on in the economy, there are always small businesses in need of good advice from seasoned professionals. Joining me now is Bob Ermatinger, chairman of the Ocean County chapter of SCORE, a group of volunteers who help new and existing business owners learn the ropes. Bob, welcome to the best years.
Thanks an awful lot, Sandy. I appreciate being here.
SCORE, how does it work exactly?
Well, SCORE got started 1964. Came out of the Small Business Administration, and we're affiliated with them, but we're not run by them now. And there are 10,000 of us around the country. There's almost 400 chapters. Here in Ocean County, we have 40 volunteers. And we spend a few hours a month, and people come to one of 9 locations where we counsel. Most of the people come to Toms River, to the municipal building where we have a permanent office. But we also meet in libraries, we meet in Chamber of Commerce offices, wherever the people are that want some counseling.
What kinds of advice are they mostly looking for about what types of issues?
It's 2 types. There's people, for instance, who've been let go and something they've always wanted to do all their lives and finally got up the courage to do it, only they don't know how you start a business. So we start them from scratch then. How do you register a company? How do you put a name onto it? How do you make sure that the name that you picked is not already being used by somebody else? How do you get a tax ID number? Very important in New Jersey. And then we go into a marketing program. How do you find customers? Who are your competitors? And, well, I should go back a little bit. The most important question is, are you really the type that wants to go into business for yourself?
Sure.
You know, there's a special kind of person that's willing to put in almost 24 hours a day to make a go of it. And if you're not ready for that, then you're really going to have a hard time. But we work along with whatever restrictions you want to put on it. Then we call it a business plan. How much money do you need to get the business started? What do you have to have? Where are you going to physically locate it? How much is your rent going to be there? If you have to take out a loan, how are you going to pay it back? And very importantly, how are you going to pay yourself while you're working for it, you know? Because we found that almost half of all businesses go out after a year because they underestimated how much money they're going to need.
So it's the nuts and bolts for people who are starting out so that they make sure that their dream is possible to realize.
Exactly.
But also for existing businesses, you offer advice.
Well, this is something. We've always had perhaps 15% of our clients were existing businesses that are having troubles. And we give them our standard kind of treatment, which is good, but not as good as what we need now. So we found that last year, toward the end of the year, that people were really starting to worry. And by February, several people said, our business just stopped. They were doing not badly at all, and then all of a sudden, bam, the wall came down. So I had mentioned to you earlier, one of our volunteers is a retired senior vice president of JP Morgan Chase, and she was in charge of strategic planning. So I invited her over, and she talked about 5 things that an existing business can do to cope with the current conditions, make sure they survive it.
What are a couple of those things?
Well, the one that comes to mind is if you're in competition with somebody who's not right next door, you can do common purchasing together. You can do common advertising together. Anything to cut your costs down. When you realize that 80% of your profit comes from 20% of what you sell, you look to what identify those 20% that do most of your selling, and then the rest of it you can put on sale. Because one of the most important things you have to confront now is cash flow.
Sure.
How are you going to keep going? Because if at the end of the year you got a lot of money, but all year long you have no money, you got a real problem.
So in this economy, your services are especially important. And the most incredible part about SCORE is this is offered free, completely free. You work with all volunteers. Now, are you looking for more volunteers to join?
Yes, I'm so glad you reminded me to get. I get enthused either way. Yes, and it's not difficult. We mostly look for people who had been in their own business because they have that experience to offer, but also fellows who worked for corporations that had specialties. So we have accountants, we have marketing experts, and then on top of that, where needed, we can call in some outside professionals. We have lawyers, we have accountants, we have insurance people, we have computer experts. So all of these people are available to help these people.
So how can people get involved? And beyond that, before that even, why do people decide to volunteer? Why do retired executives decide to volunteer?
I think, you know, retirement's fun. It really is. But after a while, you get kind of bored.
Yeah.
And how much gardening can you do in winter, you know? So you get out of the house, number one. Number two, you talk to other fellows like yourself that had a business or in a corporation. And you get to give advice to people that really need it. And I think it's a great thrill to do that, to realize.
It's a great service you're offering. There's so much information when you're starting a small business. Current businesses also need advice. Bob Ermatinger, thank you so much for joining me today on The Best Years.
It's my pleasure.
Now, volunteering your business experience takes just a few hours per month. The Ocean County chapter of SCORE invites retired or working men and women with management experience to attend a membership meeting at the Toms River Municipal Building held on the first Monday of each month at 10 a.m. For more information, call 732-505-6033 or visit the chapter's website at www.oceancountyscore.org.